All right. We have a great live today, and we're doing this for pretty much anybody out there who is, building a book of business, has your own business. We're going to be talking about something that we do at CoLab, which is doing your goal setting and your business planning. And, you know, it's really important. It's always been important that you clearly define what you want. If you want something to change, to be different, to go after something that's different. And so I wanted to just give anyone who is trying to figure out how to do that just a sneak peek into how we do this. So you can see the beginning steps of the process. Now, we are specifically a mortgage brokerage, but you could do this in anything. You could do this in any business. You could do this no matter if you work somewhere and you're building your own book of business and you're in sales. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through for about 10 minutes the process that we're following to do this goal setting, because I think the statistic is about only 3% of people have written goals. And I hope that is not true. But if you catch this video at some point and you are honest with yourself, like, do you have written goals? And then my thing is, it's not even just written goals, but then do you have a plan to make sure that your goals actually happen? Because it's a choice. And so if you want to go after something and make it happen, this is the way to do it. It's nothing fancy. But it's defining the things that you want, the reason why you want them, and then putting this action plan together that you look at and take action on afterwards. And you will be shocked at the things that will happen in your life if you do that. I'm Megan Marsh. If you're catching this and you've never seen any of our videos or don't know who we are, I'm one of the founders of CoLab Lending, which is a mortgage brokerage that was originally founded in Western PA, but we're licensed in different states down to Puerto Rico. We have a team here, and we also have a mortgage broker franchise for anyone who is looking to open their own mortgage brokerage. And so we are starting to do this business planning for our teams, our loan officers who are looking to grow their own book of business, and for any mortgage brokers or loan officers who are looking at some point, their goal would be, hey, I'd like to do something like open my own brokerage. We have a community of other mortgage brokers who, want to level up. And so I'm going to start sharing with you the process that we go through. So first part is having some type of a visual as you start doing your goals. The easiest way sometimes is to visually see the things that you want. And so I'm going to pull this up so you can see it just a little bit better. And these were some of the goals that I had in the past few years. And this was what I did. If you go back to some of my vision boards, was I went and found a picture of the thing that I wanted to do. And this could be anything. And it's almost hard and it's overwhelming to figure out what your goals are. And that's why this process can really work. And so I'm going to be doing it and walking through for anyone who is in the mortgage and real estate industry, which is what I'm in. But like I said, you can do this literally no matter what you do, what kind of business you have. So if you look on this board here, you'll notice these pictures. The one in the upper left-hand corner was me speaking at an event. Something I hadn't done before 2020. And it was a goal of mine. So I put a picture of someone speaking on the year that I decided that was a goal. I put that on my board. If it's finding like-minded people, having business partners, there's a picture of my business partner. So finding getting connected with the right people is another thing you could put in your vision board, your goal board. Upper right-hand corner, it was when I went skydiving. I was absolutely petrified, but I wanted to go skydiving for years. Then down on the right side is my family. If you have a goal for your family, I had a goal of buying my husband his dream car, that since we got married 18 years ago and I was able to buy it for him in 2021. That one took a while, but it did happen. And I kind of feel like, for me at least, it's fun to set goals because then it's something that you're going after. And so, I mean, they can literally be around anything. The bottom right is one of our buildings. This is our office building in our Erie, PA office. So maybe you own a business and you want to stop renting and you want to have your own space that you buy a building. So learning how to do this and how much money you need to save and what it takes is where you'd start looking at the things and the steps it would take to get there. Middle of the screen there is, at one point I was like, I want to write a course for other loan officers and mortgage brokers and help make it easier for them when they open their own business. This is one of the checklists in the course that we have. And then the bottom one is a game board that I made for when we go and work with any of our business partners, real estate agents, other lenders. When we go and work with them, having something that's fun and engaging. And this was what came of it, which was a board game called Mortgage Madness. So these were the goals. And so, the first part that we start doing when we are creating our vision board is we start visualizing the things that we want. It's not telling us how we're going to get there, but it's at least giving us something to look at so that we can figure out how we're actually going to make that happen. Because then the next step, which is really where the rubber meets the road in any type of goal planning and business planning, is when you start, you don't just jump over. At least in my mind, this is the process that I've always followed, is now you got to pick the categories in your life that you need to have a pulse on. And so I call this picking impact areas. And so this is an image from one of our workbooks in our course. And picking impact areas is where, like, you're no longer, just looking at something, but you're picking the areas that you need to do something in that will ultimately lead you to one of those goals. Now, and this is always the hard part. So I'm going to show you a couple images that will, I think, help you see the types of impact areas that you could put in here. Depending on your role, where you are in your career, in your life, your impact areas will be different. So the first one is, if you were looking at personal impact areas. So if this was for your personal life, it'd be things like health, love, your love life, finances, your spiritual journey, what your career looks like. Personal development, is all on what you're learning, what you're getting better at personally. And that can be anything. I mean, it can be, for me, it's always, I wanted to get better at copywriting for personal reasons and for our business. But it could be, hey, I want, at one point for me, personal development was I wanted to do CrossFit and I wanted to make a certain level of the CrossFit games. So, I had to set that goal. And literally the next piece of how I do this is I break things down. And I literally, when I'd go into workouts and competitions, I would write it out how long I could take a breath, and I'd have somebody do a countdown for me. And that's when I kind of started figuring out, like, okay, this is how I'm achieving a lot of these goals, is I am breaking these things down into these categories. So that's why I like to share how I do this with, any of you who maybe haven't felt like you've hit what your potential is, because I promise you, that's why I truly believe that anyone can accomplish anything that they put their mind to. It's just how good you are at setting up a action plan and business plan and your goals and then following through on them. So then business development, it could be, let's say you work somewhere and you're in sales and you're a loan officer and you're working on building up your book of business. Well, business development, in my head, that's what I call, it's just like your overall growth in general and how you're going to get to the next level. So maybe you want to invest in real estate. So that's part of your overall, I should have probably called it like business. We're just going to keep calling it business development because I don't know what else to call it. And then there's relationships. I have 4 kids. So for me, relationships was making sure I spent time every month with one of them, and, just one-on-one time. And then fun things that you like to do. Maybe it's travel. I love traveling. So if traveling is something that's important to you, then it can literally be a whole goal that every quarter, I want to travel somewhere. And then health, that could be exercising, working out, any of those things. So that's your personal impact areas. Then the next one, I did it for loan officers, which is what I've been for most of my career. Being able to start growing your mortgage business as a loan officer, you'd have to start picking those areas that would help you become a better loan officer that people want to work with. And so if you look here, it'd be things like marketing. In the best way to do this is you create and you pick these impact areas and then score yourself from, you could do it 0. I don't do any of this. 1, I sometimes do it. 2, I do it often. 3, I never miss a beat, right? You could give yourself a score on each one. Social media. How about loan products that you offer customers? The technology that you use in your business. Maybe it's to automate things. Maybe it's to make your loan process better. Team. Do you have a team? Have you ever hired someone? That can help tremendously to grow your business. How about your customer experience, that when you're working with customers or after you've already worked with a customer? What does that look like? Once again, biz development. So for me, it's an overarching theme, because I feel like if you want to keep moving and changing and doing different things in your life, in your career, business development is it's the big picture of how you do that and get there. The loan process is always really important for loan officers, which is like how your customer feels from when they go under contract all the way until they close. And so there's a lot of pieces that you can do. There are a lot of things you can do to make the loan process better, your business to business partners, and then your sales activity. So that would be what a loan officer, what their impact areas are. And I think the hard part for a lot of loan officers, where my expertise and where the lab and why we put together our franchise, was that, from being in the broker space for so long, I think it's overwhelming for a lot of loan officers to think about, like, okay, in my career, what am I going to do? What's that next step? And if owning your own business is something that you've always wanted to do, how do you go from what a loan officer focuses on goal-wise to what a mortgage broker owner or a correspondent does? How do you, what's different? What do you have to learn to get there? And so that's why I'm going to show you the next one. And we'll pull this one up on my screen. Okay. So these are the impact areas for somebody who is a mortgage broker. And those impact areas would be, and you're going to notice some overlaps from being a loan officer. So it would be, once again, marketing, tech, the technology. Now it's on your company, not just you as an LO. Now we're adding those orange ones are the ones that really get added that you don't have to think about when you're just a loan officer. So then compliance is one. And I usually group this is licensing and compliance. So those two categories, you have to make sure that your company is compliant and your licenses are up to date. Finances of the company, then human resources. So it's not even just a team now. It's anyone who works at your company. You're still going to have customers. So that's still the same. You still should be doing business development for your company. And then the other two that are a little different once you're a mortgage broker is, if you have other people, like what kind of training are you going to have for them? What is their experience going to be? Because I feel like you no longer just have customers that you do loans for. You now have customers that are your employees and what they need, and keeping that in mind. Then the vendors and lenders. So it's not just a product thing now. It's what lenders do we need to sign up with so that we have all the products that our people need, and what vendors do we need also to have the right tech so that our systems flow together. Then for your whole company, sales. So, these are the broad categories. Now, I don't recommend between these things, because you literally could pick stuff from all three of those categories that I showed you, but it's just, you pick the ones that are most important to you that you want to focus on. I think the best number is about 8 impact areas, but you can have up to 10, and you'll have to pick the ones that are number one. So here would be what your impact area might look like if you picked certain ones. So let's say you open a mortgage brokerage and you're producing just like I was when we opened our company. So on the left is I was a loan officer still, and I was doing loans. So marketing was important. Sales was important. Technology we were using was important. My customer service. So the experience the customer got, not just overall, but especially in the loan process. So making sure that they had that great experience from start to finish. So those were the impact areas that I was focusing on as that loan officer, to be able to start moving over into becoming a strong business owner. The things on the right are what you need to start focusing on. And at first, when you're a mortgage broker, you don't have to spend as much time. You can just kind of go with the basics. But if you want to scale, if you want to grow, then getting better at the things on the right are where you start adding them piece by piece. You always have to do licensing and compliance. If you have people, you have to do human resources of some sort. You have to manage the finances or have someone manage it for you. Vendors and lenders, and then business development is one. In the beginning, I didn't really have that one in there, whereas we do now, and how we're growing our company in different ways. So this would be if you had 10, if you were going to have 8, I'd probably cross off business development at first, and maybe tech could go with vendors and lenders, right? So this would be my foundation of the areas. And I would add a couple personal ones in here personally. But if you are working with somebody else in your company on how are we going to make our business better, these are the ones that I would kind of start with. And then the next step is going to be figuring out within, let's use marketing, for example, then, okay, well, if you're just starting your business, marketing, so what do you need to have? Well, we need to have a social media presence. We need to have a website. And you'll do that for each of these impact areas, is you'll kind of pick the subcategory things. All right, so in marketing, what is the most important thing? What's of social media accounts, website, right? What do we need to do first, right? So for us, it was website. We need to have a website, because we felt like having that website was the foundation. And then number 2 was creating the social media accounts. And then you start breaking things down with how you're going to achieve that. And so what happens is you do this for all the areas, and you put a plan together. And that is the type of training that we're doing in our lab community. So if this short mini training here, let me take this off. So this is just a short mini training to kind of show any of you. I can't walk through the whole process. It is actually 2 of what we call our deep dives that we're doing for the mortgage brokers who are joining our community of other mortgage brokers or loan officers who want to open their own brokerages. If that is something that you want to walk through this process, you want to understand how the community can help you and what the courses do. I wanted to make sure that I put that up here before I jumped off. And so we are starting our business planning deep dives on December 7th. So Thursday, December 7th. So if that's something that you want to do, we are running a special right now. It's for 90 days. It's $99 a month. And you'll get to jump into these deep dives, get all the templates and stuff that you need to do your business planning. And so if that's something that you would like to do, then just DM me, or you can use the QR code in this video to schedule a quick time to talk, and we can get you the link with how to get in there. But otherwise, I hope that this helped any of you who's never had written goals or had a goal, but you just didn't know how to get there. This is the first step. And then the next steps is what we'll be walking throughout December, so that we make 2024 just an awesome year in mortgage and real estate, which I know it's hard right now, but I promise you there are people who are having great years, and it's the people who are really planning and doing the activities that help get you there. So I'm Megan Marsh with collab. And I'll see you guys in another week on one of our lives.